Welcome to your deep dive. Today, we're tackling a real head scratcher, right? We're trying to figure out this character, Z, and all we've got are these session summaries and character notes, bits and pieces of his adventures.
It's like we're piecing together a puzzle, but the image on the box is missing.
Exactly. So our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to solve the enigma that is Z.
And what makes this so interesting, at least to me, is that Z himself seems to have no idea how mysterious he is. This isn't our typical brooding hero with a shady past. No, no. This is a slow reveal, folks. Like slowly peeling back layers of, well, an onion. We're discovering alongside Z's companions, trying to understand the man behind the magic.
So we're not just dealing with a character here, we're dealing with a whole narrative strategy.
Love it.
Now, you specifically mentioned that you wanted to understand how Z's past ties into the mess the party's in right now.
Right, right. Because it all starts with a bang, doesn't it? They're fresh out of the Underdark, these adventurers. They just stared down the goddess Lolth herself and lived to tell the tale.
Talk about trial by fire.
No kidding. A victory like that, facing down a goddess, that says a lot about their skills, especially Z's. But he's still a total enigma.
Do you think someone who laughs in the face of a goddess would be a little more, open? But no, he's quiet, keeps to himself, like he's always watching, waiting.
Exactly. Like he's got this grand plan, but he's not sharing it with anyone.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our band of heroes, fresh from their Underdark victory lap, they land in Stonewharf, a bustling city built by dwarves. One of them, Thrain, actually calls this place home. Homecoming. Time to break out the mead and roasted meats, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But instead of celebrating, they get roped into this new mystery. Seems like Stonewharf has a case at the sticky fingers, a string of burglaries. But here's the thing, the stuff that's being nicked, totally random. A ship's log here, a compass there, even a blue crystal one in a card game. Bizarre, right?
And this is where we get the first little whisper of Z's past. Remember that ship I mentioned, the Soaring Heron?
The one from the logbook, yeah, what about it?
It pops up again and again, this ship. A subtle connection, almost like a whisper in the background noise. We don't know exactly how it ties to Z yet, but all these stolen odds and ends, they all have a connection to the Soaring Heron. It's faint, sure, but it's the first thread that links Z's past to the mystery at hand.
So you're saying these seemingly random thefts, these trinkets, they're like puzzle pieces,
Mhm.
and somewhere down the line, Z is holding the box.
That's my thinking. It's like someone's laying down breadcrumbs, leading us down a very specific path.
So how do they even start unraveling this mess? It's like finding a needle in a haystack made of needles.
They do what any self-respecting adventurers do. They dive in head first, talking to everyone they can. The folks who got robbed, the city guard captain, even half-orc chef, you name it.
I admire their dedication, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't break a sweat over a missing compass or a card game crystal, but these guys, they're thorough. But what about Z? Is he just along for the ride, or is he actually, investigating?
Now that's the million gold piece question, isn't it? And it's what makes this whole thing so intriguing. In these early parts of the story, Z is almost silent. While everyone else is chasing leads, he's just observing, listening, holding his cards close to his chest, if you will.
Like he's expecting something, waiting for something specific to happen.
Exactly. He knows more than he's letting on. Mark my words.
Okay, I'm getting serious. Still waters run deep vibes from the Z. But before we get too lost in Z's enigmatic aura, we need to talk about someone who throws a wrench in the works. Galen the Silver Tongue, a bard with a knack for secrets and ties to a group called the Whispering Shadows, the folks behind these weird heists.
Ah, Galen. A classic, if I do say so myself. Charming, quick-witted, but can you trust him? That's the question, isn't it?
Especially when you consider he's chummy with the thief, they eventually catch a halfling named Irina Nightfoot.
Indeed. And it's through Irina that we get a name, the supposed mastermind behind these seemingly insignificant thefts. Mordecai Graveshard. Sends chills down your spine, doesn't it?
Ugh, just the name. But back to Z, how does he react to all of this? The Whispering Shadows, Irina getting nabbed. What's his take?
He's remarkably calm, cool as a cucumber, like he expected it almost, as if these revelations confirm something he already suspected.
For someone who doesn't say much, he sure knows how to keep things interesting. It's like he's playing a game of chess 5 steps ahead of everyone else.
And just when they think they've cracked the case, things get personal, real personal, for Z at least. Picture this. A message arrives for Z, a message that flips his world upside down.
Okay, spill the tea. What's in the message?
It's a desperate plea for help. From his family, in Hadron's Hold, Seems like they're under attack, and time is not on their side.
Whoa, talk about a plot twist. This
No.
isn't just some side quest anymore. This is personal. It's like suddenly Z's whole quiet, reserved act. It makes sense.
Right. Everything we thought we knew about him, it's like this whole other layer just got peeled back.
So what does he do? Does he tell the others,
Yeah,
his companions?
he does, but even then, he's careful, guarded. He tells them about his family, about Hadrian's Hold, but it's like he's not quite ready to spill all the beans.
Which honestly is pretty understandable. These are adventures he's known for, what, a few weeks? Months, tops. And yet, they're the ones he's turning to.
It speaks volumes about the trust they've built, don't you think? Because despite Z's hesitation, the others, they don't even blink. They pack up, ditch Stone Wharf, and hightail it towards Hadrian's Hold on this rickety riverboat.
And this being a deep dive into the mysterious world of Z, I'm guessing the trip isn't all smooth sailing, right?
You know it. The closer they get to Hadrian's Hold, the worse things seem to get. Smoke fills the sky, there's this awful stench of broming wood and something else, something well off.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. What do they find when they arise? Lay it on me.
Chaos. Absolute chaos. Hadrian's Hold is literally on fire. Pirates are everywhere running rampant, and the screams of terrified villagers are echoing through the streets. It's like something out of Z's nightmares. And at the heart of it all, his past.
This is intense. We've gone from intriguing to downright terrifying. Here's Z, a guy who can clearly handle himself, facing a situation that's ripped away all the pretense, all the masks. It's a trial by fire in every sense of the word.
And how he reacts. It's a side of him we haven't seen before. Gone is the quiet observer, the man of mystery. This Z is all action, driven by the need to find his family and, well, maybe salvage what's left of his past.
Okay, so we've got a city up in flames, pirates running amok, and Z's past is literally going up in smoke. What happens next? Do they just, like, surrender?
Surrender, not a chance. The party, with Z leading the charge, they dive headfirst into the inferno, determined to reach his family home. But it's not going to be easy.
Because pirates in a burning city aren't dangerous enough, right?
Well, there's that, and then there's the small matter of the pirates having some, shall we say, unusual allies.
Don't tell me they've got a dragon on their side.
Not a dragon, but close. The session summaries describe these water elementals, creatures of pure elemental fury being unleashed on the party. Can you imagine? It's surrounded by fire, and then BAM! A wall of water comes crashing down on you.
Talk about a double whammy. But why water? You'd think at a fire they'd use, well, fire magic.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's too deliberate, too calculated. Using water magic in a city that's already ablaze, that screams power move, like someone's trying to send a message.
Okay, now I'm really starting to think we're just scratching the surface here. This is bigger than some stolen knickknacks, bigger than even a pirate attack. This is something else entirely. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to Z and his family. Does he find them?
That's the question, isn't it? The party finally fights their way through the inferno. They reach Z's family manor, this grand old place from his childhood, and...
Don't leave me hanging. What do they find? Is everyone okay?
Well, if you're expecting a heartwarming reunion, you might be disappointed. The manor. It's deserted. There's no sign of Z's family, no clues, no indication of what happened. It's like they just vanished.
Oh, no. That's awful. All that way, all that danger, and for what? To find an empty house? That's got to be even worse than knowing they were captured, than not knowing, the uncertainty.
And yet, in that emptiness and the silence of that grand old manor, we see the most revealing glimpse yet of the man behind the curtain, the enigma that is Z.
So they find this empty manor, right? No family, no struggles, no signs of forced entry. What did Z do with this? How's he taking it?
This is where things get really interesting. Remember how Z is always watching, observing? Even now, with his family missing, you'd expect him to fall apart. But he doesn't. Instead of panicking, he switches gears. From rescue mission to, well, investigation, he starts combing through the manor, but like meticulously, like a detective with a magnifying glass.
So he's not just looking for his family at this point. He's looking for clues.
Exactly. He's trying to understand not just what happened, but who his family really was. He finds the family crest, remembers bits and pieces about the layout, the rooms. It all screams wealth, high society. A far cry from the quiet mage we thought we knew.
This is where all those hints about his noble background start to click, right? But it still doesn't make sense. Why hide it? Was he ashamed of his family, or was he trying to protect them?
Those are the million-dollar questions, and that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating. It's like peeling back layers of a very carefully crafted persona. Z is a walking, talking enigma, and it's only now, facing this empty house, that we're starting to see the real him.
So does he find anything useful in this, ancestral home?
Yeah.
Any answers about his family?
Straight answers? Not really. But we get clues, breadcrumbs. Remember those stolen items? The ones with the soaring heron connection?
How could I forget? That ship keeps popping up. What's the link to Z's family, though?
Well, Z, while he's going through the manor, stumbles upon this hidden chamber, a secret room. Inside, an old ledger, pages filled with shipping routes, cargo manifests, coded messages, the works.
Okay, now we're talking. Coded messages, secret rooms. It's starting to sound like Z's family might have been involved in some shady business. Maybe this is why they disappeared. Some old deal gone wrong.
It's definitely a possibility. Remember how we said those random stolen items seemed like puzzle pieces? Well, it seems like we found the puzzle box, and it's overflowing with the kind of secrets that could bring down powerful families.
And Z, he's right in the middle of it all, trying to make sense of it. What a mess. So where does this leave us? What's next for Z and his companions?
That's the question, isn't it? Z's standing on the ashes of his past, staring down a future full of uncertainty. His family's fate is unknown, their connection to the stolen goods is still murky, and we've got pirates running around with water magic and creepy imps.
Yeah.
Talk about a cliffhanger. But I guess that's the nature of a good mystery, right? It's been a wild ride, but I think the biggest takeaway here, at least for me, is that you can't judge a book by its cover. Z might have seemed like this quiet, unassuming mage, but there's a lot more going on beneath the surface.
Exactly. And that's what we'll keep exploring in our next deep dive. Until then, remember, every detail, no matter how small, could be a clue. Keep your ears open and your eyes peeled.